welcome Sam McNeal to the table today.
Yes,
So glad
thank
you're
you.
here.
Wonderful to be here with all of you nice, wonderful, precious sisters in the Lord.
Yeah, we're going to have fun at the table for sure,
Yes.
because you know all the people here. Well, you know, for
I
Sam
do.
McNeal, childhood abuse left deep scars, but unforgiveness cut even deeper. She's here to share how God healed her heart and mind through the power of forgiveness and how he can do the same for you. Some of you are sitting there like, okay, what are they going to talk about? This is a pretty horrific testimony, but it's amazing what God did in Sam's life. Sam was my assistant for many years. She retired to go into full-time ministry preaching in the prisons.
Yes.
And so that's a little bit of the end of the story, but I know her story so well. And I know so many of you right now watching, you may be struggling, or someone you know may be struggling with depression or mental and emotional issues, anxiety, fear. And so her testimony is going to be so encouraging to you. So let's just start with a little bit of your childhood, because I know you had some very traumatic things that happened.
Yes, my father was a womanizer. He was an alcoholic, and he abused her their entire marriage.
Your mother.
Yes. And my mother would have me sleep with her as a child in hope that Dad wouldn't come home and pull her out of bed and beat her. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and then as her daughter, I would get up and get in the middle and try to push him off, and then I got pushed aside. He would wrap coat hangers around her neck, trying to choke her.
I remember one day you said you came home, and we can't tell every story because I want to get to your main story, but she was standing at the top of the steps. She came home from school.
Yeah, I was 15 years old, and she was fully clothed and wringing wet from head to toe. It's like somebody had put a hose on her. And I ran up the stairs, I hugged her, and I said, "Mom, what happened?" And she said that Dad had put her, that she was in the bathtub and he tried to drown her. And then he held her down until she felt like she was going to die. And then he released her, and he stood back and laughed. So
Wow.
that was one of the incidents.
So you saw a dad who was abusive, who was an alcoholic, who was a womanizer, who beat your mom, but he surprisingly never beat you. I mean, he did some verbal abuse, but as far as touching you physically, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He never physically abused me. He was very emotionally abusive to me.
But you saw a woman that was in pure torment for years.
Absolutely.
Your mom. So tell us about that fateful day when you were asleep. What happened?
I was in a deep sleep, and I heard breaking glass, which woke me up, and I ran into the other bedroom next door, and I found my brother was in there, and he was screaming, "No, no, no." And Mom was on the bed, and her body had a bluish color to it. And so in my mind, because Dad had always beat her so much, I thought he had beaten her to death. And so I ran all over the house looking for him, because I was going to kill him. And when I didn't find him, then I ran back upstairs, and I straddled my mother's body. Her mouth was a little bit open. And so I didn't know anything about CPR, of course, and I didn't have the forethought to pinch her nose as I breathed my breath into her body. And I will never forget the coldness of that air, which was my air, coming back through her nose on the right side of my cheek.
Wow. How devastating was it for you at 15 to find your mom like that?
It was horrible. It was horrible.
I think you told me one time it may have been the worst day of your life.
It was. It still has been.